Alright, so let's look at some specific examples of mean, median, and mode and range based on a couple of sets of data. This first one, you have a student's quiz scores out of 10 points. Okay, so a teacher must have given 6 different quizzes, all out of 10 points, and these are the scores that the student earned. Okay, now to find the first piece of statistics called the mean. Remember, with the mean, you're simply going to add up the data items and then divide by the number of data items. So you add up the numbers, divide by the number of numbers. So we start with 9 plus 5 plus 9 plus 8 plus 8 plus 9. That's all 6 numbers. And divide it by 6, because that's how many there are. Okay, so when we add them up, there are 3 9s, that's 27. Add a 5, that's 32. Add an 8, that's 40. Add another 8, that's 48. So we end up with 48 over 6, which 48 over 6 does simplify nicely, because 6 goes into 48 evenly, you get 8. So the mean score for that student is an 8 out of 10, or an 80%. Okay. We also have the median. Now for the median, remember, we have to arrange the data items in order, lowest to greatest or greatest to lowest. I'm going to go lowest to greatest. So 5 would be first, then we've got a couple 8s, then we've got 1 2 3 9s. 1 2 3. Okay, so we arrange them in order from least to greatest, and then we take the middle for the median. Now in this case, there is no middle in the data, because there's 1 2 3, and then there would be a middle, and then 1 2 3 on the end. Okay, so the middle is kind of here in this empty space. So to find the middle, if you have an even number of data points, is you take the 2 in the middle and average them. Okay, so if you have an even number of data points, you take the 2 in the middle, which in this case are 8 and 9. Oh, I did those backwards, doesn't matter. Take the 8 and the 9 in the middle, add them together, and divide by 2. And what you'll get is 17 over 2. Now 17 divided by 2 is 8.5, or 8.5. Okay, I'll call it 8.5. Alright, so 8.5 is the median, so about an 85%. The mode, again, is the most commonly occurring data item, and it's really nice when they're arranged in order, because they're all grouped together, and so you can see that there's 1 5, 2 8s, and 3 9s. So the 3 9s, the 9s occur the most often, so the mode then is 9. Now again, I mentioned before that if all of these occurred one time, there'd be no mode, and you just write none. If we had another 8 in here instead of this 5, we had 3 8s and 3 9s, then you have both. I guess it would still be none, because they're all the same. Oh, I know. If I had, if one of these 9s was a 7, let's say, and I had 2 8s and 2 9s, then both the 8s and the 9s would be the mode. Okay, so you can have more than one. Alright, and then finally the range. Now the range occurs by subtracting the largest number minus the smallest number. Okay, so the range is the largest minus the smallest. It gives you kind of an idea of the spread of the data, how far apart they are. And 9 minus 5, of course, is 4. Alright, so our 4 answers are 8 for the mean, 8.5 for the median, 9 for the mode, and 4 for the range. All right, let's take a look at the other example. A student slept the following number of hours each night for the past week. Okay, so 6, 3, 4, 4, 8, 7, 5. Okay, must have had a test coming up, cramming for a test in here maybe, caught up on some sleep on the weekend, I don't know. Just guessing. Okay, so these are the data items, and now we'll go through the mean, median, mode, and range. So the mean, again, you just add those 7 numbers together and divide this time by 7. So we'd have 6 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4 plus 8 plus 7 plus 5, and divide all of those by 7. So when I add these up, I like to group them together into things that add up to 10 if possible. So like 6 and 4 makes 10, 3 and 7 makes 10, that's 20. Then I run out of things. So 4 and 8 makes 12, 20 and 12 makes 32, and then this 5 is the last thing. 32 and 5 makes 37. So I get 37 out of 7, or divided by 7. And unfortunately, 7 doesn't go into 37 evenly, so I've got to do a little long division here to figure this out. 7 into 37. Of course, it goes 5 times. 5 times 7 is 35, with a remainder of 2. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this in decimal form. So let's see. I need a 0 over here. We're going to bring down the 0, and I'll round it to the nearest tenth. So 7 goes into 20. What's that? 2 times 7 is 14. And let's do one more decimal so I can round this off. 7 goes into 60. That'd be 8 times. 7 times 8 is 56. And so if I round this to the nearest tenth, it would be approximately 5.3. Okay, so 5.3 hours of sleep would be the mean for that student over that period of time. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the median. Again, the median is found by first arranging the numbers in order from smallest to largest. So 3, 4, 4. 5 would be next, and then a 6, and then a 7, and then an 8. Oh, I just did those backwards, didn't I? 7. I'll turn that into an 8. There it is. Okay, that's the risk you run in doing that, right? So make sure to get them in the correct order. 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and now the median, again, is the middle of the set of data. One way to do this quickly is to just kind of eliminate numbers on the ends until you get to the middle, right? So the smallest and largest, next smallest, next largest, next smallest, next largest, until you get to one left in the middle. And with an odd number, you'll always have one in the middle. So there's 7 data points here, or data items. The one in the middle is the median. So 5 would be our median. I'll just box that in right there. Okay. The mode, remember, is the most commonly occurring data item. And in our case, there's only one. It's the number 4, because it occurs twice and nothing else occurs more than once. Finally, the range is the difference between the largest and the smallest data items. And so we have 8 minus 3, that's largest minus smallest, and that range would then be 5. Okay, so that gives us a couple pretty good examples then of the mean, median, mode, and range. You'll see several examples in your homework where the numbers are a little bigger, or where you have more numbers than just 6 or 7. but the calculations are all the same. Okay, same ideas.